Hello and welcome back to the Ultra Films headquarters. My name is Evan. I am the producer here at Ultra Films. Today we're talking about Young Justice, episode 24, Zenith and Abyss. Now, this is the episode I've been waiting for. Everything's finally going down. They've been teasing all these pieces coming together, and it finally has come together. Connor's coming out of the zone, and everybody that should be, maybe not everybody, maybe there should be more leaguers, but everybody that really needs to be there is there. So, this is crazy. We start out with Lor Zod going to Oa to meet with the Green Lanterns. He meets Tomer 2, who's manning like a computer station. Kilowog is in the background, and Zod asks where the Kaiser Thrall is, and is wondering where it went. It's en route back to Earth with Forager Green Lantern, and they end up getting back to Earth and to the Watchtower just fine. However, oh goodness, there's so much going on here. So if I stumble over the events of everything and have to check my notes 80 times, that's why. Everything happens so fast. Lor Zod gets, he hides his identity, he masks his identity as a Daxamite, which I don't know if that has other implications too, but essentially, yeah. Kilowog doesn't notice him. Tomer 2 doesn't notice him. They have no idea, and he makes a offhand comment about, I hope you end up like your father, to Tomer 2, which is messed up because he murdered his father. He straight up murdered his father, so it's messed up. But Lor Zod and Ma'alefa'ak learn that the Kaiser Thrall is headed to Earth, and so then they start to track it down, and they have the Legionnaires, I guess they're called Legionnaires. The Legion of Superheroes, Saturn Girl, and I don't know who the other guy is still. I don't remember his name. I never can. The Mantis guy, they're both, in custody. They're forcing Bart to run on the cosmic treadmill to get them where they need to go. And Ma'alefa'ak has this idea to pose as one of the Legionnaires, and ends up calling up Superman and Phantom Girl on the other. Their rings are able to communicate with each other, and they called Phantom Girl and Superman eventually on the ring. Meanwhile, in the zone, the rescue team has gone in through the school bus. So Zatanna, Aqualad, Tigress, Nightwing, Rocket are all in the zone trying to rescue Connor. They get confronted by Zod, and a fight goes down. And the Kryptonians have been training for years to be able to do combat in the Phantom Zone, so they're experts at it. Whereas, literally, they just got there 5 minutes ago, tracked him down. Maybe not 5 minutes, but, they've been there for, less than a day, and they're trying to fight off these Kryptonians that have literally had to live there their whole lives. They obviously get captured. Connor helps Zod out, so he's still trying to be loyal to Zod, and it doesn't go well. We'll get to this eventually. Meanwhile, back on Earth in the Watchtower, Danny Chase, which is believed to be, it's never confirmed yet, but it's supposed to be Adrian Chase's nephew, so Vigilante's nephew. And I love that. For those of you who watched our Peacemaker videos, I'll link those in the description. I absolutely adore Vigilante in any shape or form, and I think Vigilante is a great character. So Danny Chase is kind of a weirder character in the comics, and doesn't have a ton of appearances, but he appeared in some of the Teen Titans comics and was like this creepy weirdo, sort of not even hero. And so this kind of fixes that by he regularly has psychic telekinetic powers like he does in this rendition, but he's never, as far as I know, been locked up inside of apocalyptic technology. So that's new. But basically, since he's been moved to this body, or this new, out of his body into this box, and the way that his powers have been advanced by the apocalyptic technology, it's also killing him, unfortunately. So every time he uses his powers, he gets closer to death. And that's a problem because they're forcing him to use his powers here. And also the fact that he was, kidnapped off of Earth, tortured by Desaad, forced to do whatever Darkseid said, and probably was tortured by Darkseid, maybe. He's just gone through probably a lot. And they don't even get to touch on it, but they do have a little heart-to-heart. Danny Chase says, yes, I'll help you, like you guys are helping me. Very precious moment. And then moving forward. So at the same time that they're talking to Danny Chase, and Superman gets there, and Black Lightning's there, everyone who needs to really be there is kind of there. They get a call from Mars. Who else would it be other than Prince Jem, who's met Phantom Girl, which we kind of already said. But Phantom Girl decides to come and join the team. I guess Superman's not there yet, so I think it's M'gann, Danny Chase, Forge or Green Lantern, Black Lightning, Aquaman, and then Phantom Girl, or Prince Jem, and then Phantom Girl call and say, hey, we need to tell you Connor's alive. And then they Zeta over, so then they're there, and then they invite Superman because he's related obviously to Connor. And then after that they go, all right, we need a way to get Danny to lock on to that same energy that he read from when everything was going down a couple episodes ago. I think it was episode 20 or 21, when everything was going down with Toma Ray and everything on New Genesis. He locked onto the signature from the Phantom Zone, so he's able to trace it and get back there, but he doesn't have enough energy, life force, power left in him to make that one last jump. And so they need the help from a mother box, which is why they call Orion. And Orion knows, what Kryptonians are capable of. So he instantly says, all right, we're going to a planet with a red sun. I forget what it's called. Let me see here. I don't know if I wrote that down. But they go to this planet with the red sun where Kryptonians will be depowered. Superman even says when they get there, he can't even feel, or he can feel his powers getting drained from him, and he's feeling weak. In the zone, simultaneously, Aqualad's trying to reason with Connor in that fight. Then they get captured. They dust out to disappear, and then everyone is kind of catching up to speed right at the same time. So the rescue team in the zone is all right, we need to come up with a new plan. We're out of tricks. And then they even gave up kryptonite on accident to Zod, which is going to be a problem later on. I already know. But Kid Flash, Alpha Ock, Lord Zod, and the Legionnaires are also catching up to speed at the same time, because Alpha Ock's calling, Phantom Girl on the ring and saying, hey, yo, where you guys going? And then they go there to meet up with them, except obviously they're not going to help. They're going to sabotage the mission. So they're listening in on everything as it's being discovered. They tell them, hey, we're going to this planet. We'll meet you there. Phantom Girl and M'gann, before Danny comes up with the plan, attempt to do a teleportation. And so obviously she can move from her current location wherever she's at and teleport to Bixel, which is her home world. And so she's teleporting in between dimensions, and she teleports to her home place, and it's completely destroyed and ravaged, and it's supposed to be this haven, this beautiful place. And she's kind of confused because it does, it doesn't look how it did when she was a child or whatever. But she isn't able to conjure them up into the Phantom Zone. She just couldn't do it, and so that's why they have to go the route with Danny. So they all end up going, over to this planet, and open up a boom tube that allows the Kryptonians all to come out, and ultimately they plan on fighting them. They have Aquaman, Black Lightning, Miss Martian, Prince Gem, a Green Lantern, and Orion. So they realistically should be good against however many non-powered Kryptonians they have. Plus they have Superman. So, I mean, you could say Superman's not a great hand-to-hand combat fighter because he never ever really has to go up against anybody that can match him. So he might not fare super well in that sort of fight, but they still have like 7 people versus like maybe like 12 or 15 Kryptonians that don't have powers, whereas most of them have their powers, so they should be realistically okay. However, M'Alefa'ak shows up and brain blasts Danny as he's opening the portal. Danny's unable to close it or stop them, and he ends up being controlled to desync everybody from reality, the same thing that they did to Metron. And yeah, so he's unwillingly had his back turned against his, turned his back on his friends unwillingly because of M'Alefa'ak's powers. And so the boom tube is open. You see this conversation here between Zod and Connor, and they're about to walk out the boom tube and onto this planet with the red sun. And just as I was worried, Connor's injuries last outside the zone. I knew it was going to happen. And when they said it was going to be a red sun, I got so nervous because I was like, he better not walk out that door. He better not. And then he did. And he has this big old slash on all the way through him pretty much. And he's on a red sun where his powers are dampened. That would kill that monster. If it wasn't in the Phantom Zone, would have killed anybody. And I think I said this a few days ago. I was unsure if you could die in the Phantom Zone when like Phantom Girl woke up and couldn't leave. I wasn't sure whether or not the Kryptonians could kill her in the Phantom Zone. I want to say they couldn't. I don't know for sure, obviously, because they're realistically all just ghosts. So I don't know for sure. However, once you leave the zone, any injuries you sustain in the zone stay. So he's not looking good. Superman and the rest of this team, Aquaman, Black Lightning, everybody is incapacitated by Danny, which is awful. And Lord Zod, General Zod, and meet up and have this reunion. And he's like, I brought you back, even though he didn't really do it. But yeah, it's not looking good. It's chaos. It's chaos. And that's basically how the week ends. We're left unsure of what's going to happen to Connor, unsure of what's going to happen to the team. I mean, realistically, you got Danny against, has his powers bent against his will against the rest of the team. You got 3 Kryptonians and a Martian versus everybody else is there, but they can't do anything because Danny's out of it. So McGann has to brain blast him back to be like, hey, yo, don't do this. And then they should be okay, but it's gonna be crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen. Anyways, that's my episode for this week. I'm very excited for next week. I'm actually more nervous than excited, but excited nonetheless. So I will see you when they drop episode 25 in a few days from now, from when you're watching this. And then until then, peace.